Good Monday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm the host for South Carolina Weather, just Peterson. Let's go ahead and start off your weather for your Monday evening. Now, looking at the forecast for today and the current radar conditions, we do have clear skies out there today, maybe some cloud cover out there, but no rain is happening throughout all of South Carolina right now. The East Coast in general is looking pretty good, except for some snow up here inside of Maine, and we do have some rain up here inside of New York as well. And then look at the central U.S. and the Midwest and the Great Lakes region. Nice. I don't know if these showers are hitting the ground or not, but overall, I mean, nice inside the central Midwest and the Great Lakes as well. Looking at the West, though, they're getting hit by their next atmospheric river, so they are getting hit with that heavy rain, those gusty winds, some high elevation snow, and as well as in the Rockies as well. Not too bad, but I think that precipitation will obviously move forward, and that's what will bring us our marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow as well. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and talk about cloud cover. Cloud cover right now is looking to be kind of cloudy for mainly portions from Columbia, going down to Charleston, Augusta, going down to Savannah. Florence and Myrtle Beach, the upstate, looks pretty good for right now, so that is a great thing to talk. That's a great thing to know, great thing to hear, especially if you're in those regions. But obviously, everywhere else is also good. You know, you might just have some clouds up there inside the sky. Probably not a good idea to go out tonight anyway. If you have to go, if you want to go, have some activities tonight. Probably not the best because of just how cool it's gonna be. And I mean, if we go ahead and look at our current temperatures are already 50 inside Columbia, 48 in Greenville, 55 in Charleston, 52 in Georgetown, 52 in Myrtle Beach, 55 in Moncks Corner, 53 in Walterboro, 52 in Florence, 50 in Sumter, 52 in Augusta, and 50 in Rock Hills, 55 in Savannah, and other places like that. So already we're having those temperatures from the mid 50s all the way down to the high 40s already, and it's only 8 o'clock. And here's our minimum temperature for tonight. Everyone, except for if you're near the coast, will be inside of the high 30s, maybe even the mid 30s. But we are just watching for around 40 degrees, I think that is, near Charleston. 45 degrees near Myrtle Beach, 38 near Sumter and Florence, 37 near Columbia, 38 near Augusta, 36, 37 near Anderson and Greenville as well. And let's go ahead and continue. Max wind gusts for the next 24 hours. No wind gusts is expected for the next 24 hours. No precipitation is expected for the next 24 hours. And let's go ahead and move on, shall we? As I move that to the wrong spot, move that back to where it's supposed to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about our day one convective outlook. We do have a chance for some thunderstorms up there for the Pacific Northwest, mainly for some isolated thunder, some isolated lightning, I should say, and some claps of thunder, but that's pretty much all we're talking about for tonight. If we go into tomorrow, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather for Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Overland Park, Kansas, and Olathe, Kansas as well. This does include a 5% chance of damaging winds, a 5% chance of damaging hail as well. No tornadoes are really expected from this at all, or really starting to get going, really trying to, get going. So yes, if you know anybody inside of this region, this green marginal region right here, please let them know. And we also do have a TSTM surrounding it, and then we also do have a TSTM also for Elko, Nevada, Boise, Idaho, Butte, I think that is, Montana, Missoula, Spokane, Pendleton, and Seattle as well. Also have a chance of seeing a thunderstorm tomorrow as well. And if we go to our day 3, this is Wednesday. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather that does include Kansas City, both Kansas Cities again, Overland Park, Lincoln, Nebraska, Tulsa, Oklahoma again. And it seems like what they're saying, I mean, already we have those temperatures up there in the 70s. And mainly, if you look at it, it says shear and cold mid-level temperatures can result in some strong to severe storms capable of hail. So not really wind or tornadoes, but hail is what they're looking at the most for right now. That can change, obviously, and we still do have that day four, my bad, day four. Chance of severe weather for Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, and Garland, Texas. Also includes Shreveport, Louisiana, Lufkin, Texas, Waco, Texas, and Austin, Texas as well. So we are just waiting to see what happens with this. Still a 15% risk. What they're saying right now is that it's potential that this could be stronger than the day 5 and the day 6, day 7, day 8, day 8, obviously. Um, but they're saying that it's probably not capable of a 30% risk, but definitely capable of more than a 15% risk, is what they're trying to say. And they do talk about, I think they do talk about day 5 as well. If I can find it, yeah. Um, some thunderstorms are possible across the southern plains on Saturday, but forecast confident decreases after day 5 Friday, with medium range guidance varying considerably on the evolution of the western continental United States upper low. So they're thinking that maybe a day 6 could be, a day 5 could be added, but really day 6. They're thinking that a day 6 for Saturday for the southern plains could be added again, but confidence is not high enough yet for that. So they're just waiting to see what happens. No, but let's go ahead and look at what the CSU, the CIPS, and other models are saying. So here's what the CSU, the CIPS, and the SBC thinks for day 1. Day 1, obviously today, nothing. Tomorrow, where the SBC does have that marginal risk of, actually, let me pull this up. Where the SBC does have that marginal risk of severe weather, the I'm trying to find it. Here we go. All right, so the hail risk right here. They do have the hail risk pretty up, and they have the wind risk up as well. So we're just trying to figure out and see exactly where they'll be placed at. But as of right now, looks like main areas is northeastern Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas as well, and the hail threat is pretty much, they're very different. I'm not gonna lie, because this is what it looked like at the 0Z. You know, you can see it's kind of aligned, but also not. But then once you go to the 12Z, it's like, yeah, like, I mean, it's not even close. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. But we can't go, actually, let me go into the few days in the future, see what that shows. Okay, so here we go on. Okay, I got it now. Alright, that's better. Alright. So yeah, this is what it looked like, and now it looks like this. So, you know, they kind of expanded it a little bit. Not really showing too much of a wind risk, but apparently the SPC thinks that there's a wind risk. So I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll always go with the actual humans say. So we'll say that a wind risk is also comes with it as well. But that's just day 1. Let's go to day 2. Sorry, that's day 2. Let's go to day 3. I mean, day 3 does show a lot of things going on. If we go ahead and look at it, especially here, the CIPS is showing mainly just a little 10% risk for Oklahoma, Texas, and southern Kansas and Missouri. The CIPS is showing a bit of a more different situation. Thinks that the probability is pretty good, and that the hail risk is pretty good, and also that the tornado threat is pretty good as well. So they honestly think that the highest threat is going to be hail, which was what the SPC said. They think that there's going to be a little chance for a tornado, especially on this green region, and obviously the brown region right here is for wind. But yeah, they really think that the hail threat could get upgraded to a slight. We'll see what happens. We're still 3 days out. Anything could happen. This could easily turn into a day 1 slight risk of severe weather. But this is day 3. Again, this is what the SPC, the actual humans, made, and this is what they think. So we'll see what happens. But here's day 4, and this is something that honestly very caught my eye almost immediately. So here's what the SPC, here's what the actual humans think. This is what the CIPS thinks, a bit of a more higher situation. Kind of has like that 15% risk, and it has like the 10%, even has a little 10% for Illinois as well. But look at the CSU. I mean, going all out. I mean, this is just, I don't know if I should call this ridiculous or if I should call this something to watch for, because I know the SBC did say that it could definitely get higher than a 15% risk, but I mean that's almost moderate risk. That's a 0.43, and to get to the purple or the light purple and get to the moderate risk, you have to have a 0.45. This is a 0.43. To get to here is a 0.45. So that is a very high end enhanced risk. And here you can see it does have a hatch risk as well. So there's also a 10% risk that we can see increased or even worse severe weather. So I mean, honestly, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. This is day 4. The fact that we already have a hatch risk on day 4 is saying a lot, and we're gonna have to watch this day. So if you know anybody inside the Dallas region, the Fort Worth region, the Garland, Texas, the Arlington, Texas, the Shreveport region, anybody inside those regions, please let them know what's going on. And day 5 doesn't really get any better either. I mean, we do have a bit less of, I'd say, severe potential. The CIPS does have a little 15%, kind of like this little bean shape right here for Mississippi and Louisiana. But I mean, look at the CSU going all out again, giving a 15% risk going to Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South, and North Carolina as well. Now, obviously, it's going to be shrinking up a lot, but very interesting to see what it's doing. SBC has not said anything on it yet. Day 6, we do have a little 15% risk, and this is what the SPC was talking about how there is a chance that we could see another region for day 6 for Saturday. The CSU is over here kind of moving it a bit more east into Dixie Alley, and the SPC does not say anything on it yet. Day 7, the CIPS does have a bit of a more higher 15% risk for places like Atlanta, but has a little 10% going into South Carolina. The CSU has a slight risk going into South Carolina, marginal risk surrounding it, and the SBC is not competent. And then the CSU does have a day 8, little marginal risk down here for Florida. So the main thing that I'm watching for right now is day 4 for Thursday, because that looks like it's going to be a pretty intense day. And the next day I'm watching for is day 5, day 6 for us, because there was some things showing, and this is from Eastern Carolina Storm Chaser. They do have a kind of, you can see like what the GFS is posting or pointing out. It does have like this little line right here, but if you go into like the dew points, if you go inside the Cape levels, you can see it does have marginal tornado, and then this is what the Euro says. The Euro also does say marginal severe. So honestly, would not be surprised at all if we get a marginal risk of severe weather for parts of South Carolina. I'd say mainly from Columbia down towards the coast for sure. Would not be surprised at all if we saw one, and we'll go over that actually later. Now let's go ahead and talk about excessive rainfall. No excessive rainfall is possible for tonight, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow as well. So we're not watching for too much stuff there. But let's go ahead and move on to the day 4, 5, and 6. Day 4, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But day 4 is looking to be pretty spread out when it comes to slight risk. Does show it kind of for like parts of Texas and Louisiana as well. And you cannot see my screen, can you? You can't. All right. And we also do have a day 5 right here as well for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Day 6, 7, and 8 is not really showing anything too bad as well. But let's go ahead and move on to the UFVS. UFVS is trying to go a little bit more further out and say that a slight risk could be possible for day 4 and day 5 as well. I mean, if you see what the SBC also does have a day 4 risk. You seem like the UFVS is kind of more like on point with it. But if you go to the day 5, the SBC also does have another slight risk, and the UFVS is also kind of on point with this as well. So, just gonna have to wait and see what happens, especially going into the next couple of days. See how this shapes out to be, because a little part of South Carolina, like the Blue Ridge Mountains, is included inside of a little marginal risk if it says rainfall. So we'll see what happens. That's it for excessive rainfall. Now let's go ahead and talk about the future. What the future holds. We know that it's going to be warm later this week. I've been talking about that for like the past couple of days since like Saturday. I've been talking about how we're going to be under a kind of a warm period. We could get some 70s, maybe even some 80s as well. Some very spring-like temperatures going into this week, especially Wednesday and Thursday as well. So if we go ahead and move on to the continent of the United States, we push this forward. There goes that huge Pacific moisture going through the west coast, and then it's going to spawn that severe weather for portions of obviously like Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, places like that. And it's going to move eastward, and this is what the GFS and the Euro is saying, kind of like this little storm, this kind of like this little system right here could potentially spawn some severe weather. And this is why the CSU kind of had like that risk going from Texas all the way up to North Carolina. But if we push that forward, we have like this huge system right here that I'm also going to be watching for as well on the 18th. And we push that forward, maybe even some snow on the backside. Look at that. Some snow on the backside inside the Appalachian Mountains. And then we have a high pressure takes us over, some more rain comes through, and then we have this another system that comes through. I don't know too much on severe weather yet. Also, this is 300 hours out, so this is La La Land. But again, I'm just watching, seeing what happens. Just watching. But let's go ahead and look at both of those storm systems. So let's look at the one that is about to pass us now on about the 15th. Let's go ahead and check out the dew points. Dew points right now, those dew points will be high. So those dew points will be high. We will have dew points inside the 60s. Check that off the list. We can go ahead and actually let me go ahead and pull up Pivotal Weather, because that's a bit of a better way to doing it like this. We're going ahead and move on to the southeast, and then here we're on the GFS, and then if we're going ahead and move on to the dew points, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and switch to scene 2 so y'all can see this. And we push this forward. Here you can see those dew points already rising. I mean, you can see this. You can see that obviously. Dew points maybe even the 60s in the upstate as well. So this is Friday right here. So yeah, obviously those dew points will be high. Dew points, that is a check mark. You can for sure check off those dew points will be there. Next on, let's move on to Friday. Friday, as you can see, we do have some wind shear. Around maybe some 50, 60 knots around here. Maybe some isolated high 40s, but wind shear is there. The next thing we have to watch for is CAPE. CAPE is something that is almost essential for severe weather to start, because it gives it its energy. So we know that the moisture is there. We know that the dew points are there, which is the moisture. And then we know that the wind shear is there, so those storms will be rotating. Now, will the energy be there? I mean, as you look, yes, look at this. You go through Friday, kind of like late Friday night, you can kind of see that those CAPE levels are there. And if you look at the soundings, it does say marginal severe. So again, I would not be surprised at all if Friday they put us under a marginal risk of severe weather. I'm calling it now. Especially if you look at those temperatures as well. Temperatures also, you may not, think that temperature may be like a huge factor, but it really is, because if it's cold, it's not going to be no severe weather. And I can tell you, with how hot it's going to be this week, I'm pretty sure, like, no doubt, those temperatures are going to be there. I mean, temperatures already, the low is going to be like in like the 60s. So yeah, there definitely is going to be heat there. And also another factor is cloud cover as well. Cloud cover, if you're covered by clouds, it's not gonna get too hot as well. But I think that even if we get cloud cover, I don't know if it's even gonna really even matter. But I mean, if you push, I mean, look at this. This is clearing right here, and we push this forward some more, and we're covered by clouds pretty much most of the day, so that might be a bit of a saving factor for those storms. But we're just gonna have to wait until we get closer, because right now it's just a big blob. We don't know how much right now it's gonna drop. But let's go ahead and look at the composite reflectivity as well. See what that one shows. And if we go to Friday, yeah, I mean, you can already see it right here. Those storms potentially pushing through and already causing a ruckus already. Definitely damaging winds, I think, for sure, are the biggest threat. I don't really think hail will be too much of a threat, but for sure damaging winds and some gusty winds could definitely be possible on Friday. And I think that's gonna about wrap this up. We can look at the supercell composite, see how much supercells can form, and I might be surprised here, I might not, but I mean, kind of has like a little chance. We have like a little chance, like a rating of a 4 out of 40 out of 50, I think it is. And honestly, marginal tornado for up here near Anderson. And if we push this forward, this is near Berkeley County, sounding from Berkeley County, tornado. So that's pretty interesting to see here. We're this far out. So Friday, gonna have to watch out. I feel like that if these storms start to get into this region, definitely it's gonna be a problem. But it just matters where those storms will be, because the storms were forecasted to be in like this region right here near their kind of like the PD region, and right now they only have a 3 with only severe. So just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I am definitely watching for Friday for sure. The CSU is definitely on to something, and I'm following it. And we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So thank y'all so much for watching this evening video. And I'll see y'all tomorrow morning with another forecast update for your Tuesday.